Okay, so now we're going to practice writing proportions based off of word problems. And so it says for number 1, in an animal shelter, the ratio of dogs to cats, which means that dogs is our numerator, so that's our numerator, and cats would be our denominator, is 5 to 3. So that means I have 5 over 3. And there are 25 dogs. So this is equal to my 25 dogs, which means what I'm trying to do is find a fraction that is equivalent to 5 over 3, but will give me a total of 25 dogs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to now use my 3 steps, which means I cross multiply. 3 times 25, that's going to give me 75. And then 5 times x gives me 5x. Draw my line. I divide by 5 to get x by itself, so those cancel. And 75 divided by 5, that gives me 15. So if I actually have 25 dogs to keep my proportions the same, which means 5 dogs to every 3 cats, then that means that I would need 15 cats. All right, so now we're going to use a table to write a proportion, and then we're going to solve for that proportion. So whenever you use a table to write a proportion, what I want you to do is practice writing it as y over x. So we end up flipping it. So we have 21 over, so it's like this is the fraction bar, w equals 12 over 8. And then, again, very similar to what we did above, we're going to do 8 times 21, and that gives me 168 is equal to 12w, because now we had to multiply 12 times w. I'm going to divide by 12 on both sides, and I get 14 equals w. So this is actually 14. So now, again, I'm going to do 6 over 2 is equal to some number over 1, cross multiply, and you can see it doesn't matter what side you put your variable on, you'll get the same thing no matter what. So 6 times 1 is 6. I'm going to divide by 2, and I get n equals 3. So this will be a 3. One more time, we're going to write a proportion from a word problem. So you can buy 3 t-shirts for $24. Write and solve a proportion that gives the cost of buying 7 shirts. So I want to know how many shirts. So 3 t-shirts was $24. And I want to know the cost of buying 7 shirts. So 3 times x is 3x. 24 times 7 is 168. Oops. Divide by 3 on both sides is 56. So x equals 56. So it would be $56 to buy 7 shirts. So here's something that you really need to understand. Whenever you write a proportion, so like the shirts on this one, I had shirts on top, costs on bottom. That means when I write it equal to my other proportion, the number of shirts need to be on top, and then the cost needs to be on the bottom. So same over here, we had races on top and we had wins on bottom. So we had races on top, wins on bottom. So you have to keep it consistent. If you're not consistent with it, then you're going to actually not find the correct proportion. So I want you to do the practice problems on your own, and then you'll check your answers with mine.